Okay, it takes a little of the fun out of it because I had the total timer running the whole time. But it's still fun, for me at least, to break down the time in each game. See where it came from, you know? First we had Tony, was 5:38. Seconds are less important, I guess. Then next I did Fusion. Was 3:59. Just cut the 4. Kirby took 1:49. Yep. Kirby. Okay. Rio was 1:42. It's 1:49? Hello? Typing is impossible. I am using Tier Maker. I have even less confidence in my drawing abilities. This is a tier list of the games in Gamerade. So all the things in Rio's event. Frog was the first. Well, Tony was long, but Frog was the first like long game I hadn't played before. It was 6 hours. Rival schools. 054. Perfect Dark. Surprisingly, 619. That was like I think a lot of that was just I was really tired that Friday that we raced it, and I spent a long time after the race like lost in the next 2 levels, and then like came back the next day and was just like, oh yeah, no, this is actually not bad at all. Let's see. Jet Set Radio was 451. Running out of space on the sticky note. Zan was 343. And Zan, 343 and Zan is misleading because like 2 hours of that was in one level. That was kind of sad. The rest of it was so good. And then 429 for NFL. Hopefully that's 10 games. 3, 6, 9, 10. Yeah, that checks out. Hopefully that math checks out to around 39. Yeah, I think so. I think it's at least close. The inexact science of time, you know? Whoa, that's high praise, Spot. Thank you. Tapioca does have a great music list. Alright, let's hop into the tier list. The School of Tapioca and the School of Pop-Tart. Some rival schools. Oh shit. He's a genius. I'm gonna make this one blue also. Because having 2 greens at the bottom is just weird. This is all of them, right? 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. Yes. When I was making this, there was a weird thing where like a couple of the images weren't uploading. I think it was just like a bad file extension or something. Anyways, let's start with the ones that I didn't play. So Celeste was first on those. All 3 of the ones that I didn't play were really just time-based. The last song was StarCraft. This is Tetris CDI, I think. Yes. But you absolutely, the last one was StarCraft. So Celeste, like, obviously love Celeste, fantastic game. It was just the red berries category. I think when I played this casually, I got most of them. I don't think I've ever gotten like all the red berries, and it just felt like it was going to take a really long time. It was always the backup plan. I was very unsure about Rising Zan because my only experience with that was watching the mystery tournament race. So I was always like, if I just get into Zan and I hate it, we can come back to Celeste. But it feels a little bad to not play Celeste in the Rio event, to be honest. But all three of the games that I didn't play, I've also played before, and so I like put them aside in favor of new games too. So second one was Sonic Adventure. I actually, when Rio made the games list, or when he announced the games list, I was intending to play Sonic Adventure. Because I saw Rival Schools was a fighting game, and I'm kind of like ambivalent on fighting games. But Shoehorse really bailed me out by starting with Sonic Adventure. And when I saw it took him like 12 hours, admittedly, you know, there was some reasons for that. But I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. Maybe I just try out the fighting game and we'll see how it goes. And then feel like that ended up being a pretty good call. Miss Pac-Man was the other one I didn't play. It's fine. I don't dislike Miss Pac-Man. I think Shoehorse is a little crazy for loving it so much. Definitely for me in the category of I played it, I enjoyed it, and I'm pretty good to not touch it again. It is. It's a game. It's a game. I guess we'll just go in order that it's in here. It's fine. Cindy, it's definitely worth playing if you haven't played it before. The first time playing it through, I enjoyed it, no doubt. And I'm sure if I played it again, I would enjoy it. Like, if you had to play every game, if there were only like 3 options for every category, which sidebar meta Gamerade commentary, being able to like strike a game was a really cool idea. That's like SG has had in 30 for 30s where you can just like strike one game out of the total list, but like having many lists where you could strike games from, really like that idea. So yeah, this is Frog Game over here. Frog Game, it's an interesting case because like for like 90% of the game, if you had asked me, I would have been like C tier. It's just boring. You just like find the health upgrades. There's no combat, you just run into enemies. There's insta-kill things that make you redo dungeons. But then I got to the end of the game. And the end of the game makes that game an A. No question. One of the most phenomenal sticking the landings that a game has ever done. I don't know. I guess some minor spoilers if anyone like hasn't played Frog Game and like wants to go play Frog Game. Just mute me for like a minute. But I'm not gonna go anything like too in depth, I guess, but just wild that like it brings back every character. It throws in like everybody just gets their like moment in the spotlight. You have like the frogs. The like rival prince brings his frogs into like conga line into the snake, but then they get turned back into a human and like cut their way out. Just like, and that's like the least wild part about it. The mecha robot comes in. There's like the timing boss battle. The ending was great. The writing in Frog Game in general, I don't know, like, obviously it was Japanese, right? And so we played like a translator patch, a translated version. I don't know if the dialogue was like tried to be faithful to the original or like the translator like took some liberties, but either way, it was very well done. A lot of good humor in it. So yeah, it's an A. It's an A, for sure. Stick with it. If you're like, I don't know if this game's very good, it's worth it. Fusion, easy S. I knew that going in. You know I love Metroid games. This Fusion was actually my very first Metroid game. And so if you haven't played any of these and you're on the fence, I'm looking at some friends in the chat room. Fusion's a really good one to start with, because it doesn't hold your hand all of the way. You know, there's definitely some spaces where it lets you explore on your own and forces you to explore on your own, really. But especially just getting started and getting acquainted with the world, it points you in the right direction. It like has you on this linear path. So it's very friendly in that regard. I love this game. It's in my top 3 at least Metroid games. But definitely worth playing. Definitely, I think I mentioned this maybe yesterday when I was playing NFL, but watching Cinny play this game blind was very, very fun. That was a highlight of the event for me. Just watching him kind of work his way through it and figure stuff out, and it was very fun. So always the best part of the event is getting to watch your friends play stuff. NFL Street. Tough to say. I think I'd put it in a B. It's good. You know, it's a sports game. I think the category we played, for the most part, was very cool. Having the different objectives and like things that you're trying to do sort of helps break up the just I'm playing game after game after game of football. But then we got to the ending tournament and it was just kind of game after game after game of football. But like the building of your team, I didn't even really get into the customizing characters part of it, but like all of that stuff is really cool. Yeah, you know, it's sports trash for sure. It is. It was much easier, that's for sure. But even then, like it's easy, but it didn't have that challenge anymore. So it's just sort of even like getting to the NFL Legends at the end, and like I don't know, it was almost a little bit of an anticlimax, I guess, just because it had become so easy. But it was still fun. I'm never gonna dislike football unless it's quarterback club, you know? Perfect Dark. Probably an A. Probably an A for Perfect Dark. I'd played Perfect Dark before. Nice. I hope the SM64 is going well, or went well if you're done. Perfect Dark. I played Perfect Dark before. I didn't play it actually at all when I was like new. Like, I mean, because I was a kid and it was rated M, and there was no way in hell my parents would have let me get it. But so the first time I played it was on the Xbox 360 version in college, I think. But loved it then, loved it now. It definitely does some questionable things. I think the biggest sin is like there's some objectives that have timers on them that you fail if the timer runs out, and like there's no indication at all of what you do. You're almost like expected to fail it a couple of times. But the world is cool, the atmosphere, the music is all very, very good. The guns are very fun. It has like bots in it. So, you know, it's great playing with friends, but you can also play it with just by yourself in the multiplayer. The no maps thing was big. Like, even Turok has bad maps, and bad maps are better than no maps. Yeah, that's a good call. But it's still very cool. Love Perfect Dark. Next is Zan. Zan was the surprise of the event. Easy S tier. I loved this game. I had such a good time with it. It's completely crazy, over the top, like from start to finish. Like at the opening cutscene, you know exactly what you're in for, and it doesn't let up. You run around, cut stuff up, shoot stuff, like jump over obstacles. You're like setting free cowboys in their underwear. It's like, I said this at the end of the game, it felt like it was a game where when they were making it, like anytime anybody had an idea, they were just like, alright, yep, let's put it in the game. No, you're right, Cindy. The camera is the one flaw, no doubt. The camera's very bad. But the rest of the game was so good that I just didn't care. It did, like, you could at least lock on to stuff, and for the most part, like, combat was not so fast-paced that you were ever really punished with a bad camera. Like, the camera could be put in a really bad spot, but you could just run away from enemies and, like, fix it. So Zan was really cool. If Zan would be my one pick of, like, I mean, obviously Fusion, but I've played Fusion before. But if I was just picking out one game out of this list to recommend to somebody, it would be Zan. I mean, just listen to the theme song and you'll get hooked. Actually, I have that power. We can listen to the theme song right now. Sorry, Tower of Heaven. You're also very good. Oh, can't? Do I have that power? Surely. Okay, yeah, here it is.
Once upon a time, a blue-eyed boy from the Old West learned one of life's cruelest lessons. That evil was bigger than his gun. So he followed the footsteps of a mysterious
Everybody
master to
mash all the buttons on your controller and break them.
And came back home with the heart of a gun.
I do think I'd play it like with turbo. That seems like a good play.
Johnny had a dream of being the biggest hero round. There wouldn't be an enemy that he could not put down with a gun. Then one day Johnny met his match and turned his world around. He changed his name and learned the Shogun way, a land of the rising sun, rising day. Samurai gunmen, rising day. Johnny no more.
You have finally made it, my son. This is the last test and my final lesson for you.
I was really surprised. Like, I was convinced based on just the vibes I got from it that it was like a TV show or a comic or something. I was very surprised that it was nothing. Just standalone.
Samurai gunman. Yeah, Johnny no more.
Alright, thank you for indulging me. Alright, next up is Rival Schools. Rival Schools... I really liked Rival Schools, but at the same time, I really just don't care about fighting games. Like, as far as fighting games go, I thought Rival Schools was very cool. The setting I loved, the characters, like the rival school environment, like you could pick characters from different schools, and apparently like the story like changed if you used characters from the same school. All of that super cool. The characters being school themed, like I played with the sports school, and so I had like a girl who was a volleyball star and a guy who was a soccer star, and so like, you know, just things that you wouldn't typically see in fighting games, I guess. And I could just spam hitting volleyballs at people. It was a lot of fun. But I was just kind of button mashing through it. It was short, you know, it was less than an hour. Not enough time to really like dig into it. It's still good, you know. I think a B is fair. I was, like I said, I was planning to skip it, so it ended up being a pleasant surprise. Tony's tough. I really like Tony games. But I really grew up with the, like, Pro Skater series, not like the Open World series. And I know Rio said that he mostly played the Open World series, which is why this game was in here. No, not a lack of nostalgia, but like, so I didn't finish that thought, I guess. So I played through, I'm gonna sit it in B for now as I talk my way through it. So I played through like all of the Tony games, or the open world Tony games recently, within like the last, I don't know, 3 years or so maybe. It's Underground 2, and American Wasteland. And I'm with Fish. Underground was my favorite of the three, far and away. American Wasteland's not bad. It's a fun game. You skate around, you do tricks. It's Tony. But I don't know. It just didn't ever really grab me. Like, the idea of building your own home-based skate park is very cool. I love that the game's like centered around that. But then also the category that we were doing, like, you never really had to do anything with that. That's really only for like 100% of the game. Or like you get the pieces for it, but you don't actually like go back to like skate on it until after the game. I don't know. It's still Tony. It's still fun. I think that I'm gonna put it in A. Yeah, pieces for your skate park. Like, you get like things from the different parts of the world, and if you like skate on this sign and you break it, and like that piece gets sent over. Oh, I see. Yeah, throw your piece up there. Yeah, I get it. It took me a second. Oh, it's not NC. Nothing's NC. But you're right. The throwing pieces and the lore of the throwing pieces was definitely a buff. Like I said when Shoehorse got there, he's the real hero of Gamerade, the Peace Man. Alright, WarioWare's next. Oh, it's gone. Okay, it's fixed. Hang on, everything's breaking. Okay, we're good? We're good? We're good. WarioWare... Like, I'm between a B and a C for WarioWare. It was very cool, like, in theory. You have all these micro games, and like, basically you're just reacting, right? You're not thinking, you're just like seeing your word prompt, you're figuring out what it means, and you're doing it. And you're probably failing because you don't know what you're doing, and you're laughing, and it's fun, and it's good. But then like you go back to it and you know what you're doing, and like when you actually know what the games are, they're okay. I think if you played like... It felt like the games were like a little bit... Like it was just a small list of games, right? Like... I didn't... Really the only one I was repeating was like... I think I had to repeat like the Ninja Girl one a couple of times, but like the Wario one at the end is like the one I had to repeat, right? And you were playing like the exact same list every time. Like if there was a bigger pool that it was drawing from, then I think maybe it's a little bit just more varied. Or like if it's if we're pulling from like all of the different categories you've unlocked. She meant to change WarioWare to Wario Land but forgot. Nice, dude. Be like, wait, who put this in here? Who changed this? That's funny. It's... I don't know. I think a C is harsh. I had a good time playing it. I just also... It's solidly in the category of... I guess it's solidly in the category of games that Shoehorse likes with Miss Pac-Man. That I had a good time, but if you were ever like, hey, do you want to play WarioWare on the GBA again? I'd be like, no. I've done that. We'll leave it in C, I think. Something has to be in C. Can't just have all S's, A's, and B's, you know? Some people are just yellow-green gamers. Hey, and Lemon Lime is like one of my favorite Gatorades. Also, sidebar. There was a lot of Gatorade hate, a lot of haterade being thrown around Gatorade in this Gatorade event. It did not go unnoticed. Gatorade's good. I didn't know there was a second WarioWare on GBA. Yeah, I'd play it. Just not this one. I mean, like, yeah, you could bait me into a race of almost anything, but like, I would push to play something else. Alright, Kirby is next. Kirby was very good. I had not played this one. I played Adventure before. This was a remake of Adventure. I think I put it in A. It's just a very good game. Like, yeah, you only have the one move per ability, which is a little bit limiting. You lose your ability every time you get hit. That definitely starts to feel frustrating, but there's a ton of different abilities. Every time. It's true, it's true. But that just encourages you to pick up the next ability around the corner. Yeah, also skill issue. Just don't get hit. Get hit. I liked the mini games a lot. That was a fun addition. Like, the original had mini games too, but this just had new ones, like the air ride. Grinding was very cool. Yeah, just Adventure is good. The remake of Adventure is good. Play Kirby games. Chewers, can we just make Spock play a Kirby game for his last year's March Madness? Spock, what Kirby games have you not played? Most of them? Perfect. And just play all of them. We'll figure it out. Last is Jet Set Radio. Jet Grind Radio. If he hasn't played Superstar, I'm down for Superstar. It's fun. This is not a shame. Not a shame space. This is an opportunity for you to experience some really good games, space. Oh no, Yumo said that's his favorite. That's actually the Mirror. I'm assuming is what you're talking about there. I have not played Amazing Mirror. And Yumo's like, you love Metroidvanias, you gotta play it. Alright, well, I'll look through the Kirby list after this and talk with you, or someone will come up with something. Okay, Jet Set Radio. It's a cool game. All these games are cool games. Sidebar, I said this when Rio put out the games list, and I hadn't even played all the games, so banger games list all around. Like, really, really well done picking games that I personally enjoy, which is, of course, everyone's goal when putting together a list. The music is really good. The art, the cell shading still looks gorgeous. The controls were really not good. Really not good. It was very difficult to, like, get the skaters to do what you wanted them to do. To a point where it got frustrating, because especially some of the later levels were, like, very demanding in what they wanted you to do. But at the same time, like, it's just fun to skate around and listen to good music and vandalize stuff, you know? To me, it's a B. Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable with this. Call Wario C+. A really, really not a bad game in the bunch. Even, like I said, even the ones I didn't play, I've played them before. They're all good games. Yeah, deserves. You gotta have one. You gotta have one. Taking the hit for everybody. It makes sense. But definitely no D. Didn't even put F on here. Knew there was no chance. Yeah, I'm good with that. Box it up, ship it. Official tier list. Yeah, I guess that's kind of all I have. Came in right at the buzzer, right at the end of March. I was really thinking about pushing this off till tomorrow, but then I remembered it's Friday, and so I was like, alright, let's just go ahead and get it done. But yeah, lots of fun. Great games. Appreciate you putting it together. As always, I know it is work on the front end to get it all put together, but definitely fun to play, hopefully fun to watch. I know I enjoy watching. Only a couple incorrect choices. We can live with that. We can live with that. Yeah, I guess that's all I got. Tomorrow's college basketball for the N64. I would say come watch, but really you should all just come play. Yeah. No reason to drag it out. At least come raid Giga with me. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Just say hey. If you don't want to watch Resident Evil, you can bail. It's cool. But yeah. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye-bye.